Hey everyone, me Kevin here with stimulus updates from Pelosi, Trump, Meadows, and more. We are now 36 hours from the newly imposed deadline to strike a deal prior to the election. This comes as China not only crushed the virus, but they've just released their third quarter growth figures, coming in at 4.9% growth, which is almost back to the 6% growth that China had before the pandemic. This is showing and creating hope that a full recovery at least, is possible in the United States once we get this virus under control. We have now crossed 40 million cases worldwide. Folks, quick reminder, you can always email me for a bundle coupon code on the amazing courses linked down below for real estate investing, stock and money, and tax benefits, and of course, do-it-yourself rental renovations and the YouTube course so you can make money from home. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Oh, my email, by the way, is kevin@meetkevin.com. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows has now agreed with Mitch McConnell to bring any stimulus deal reached between Pelosi and Trump to the floor of the Senate. Mitch McConnell would hope to gather support for it, though Republicans are wary of any deal that is over $2 trillion. Nancy Pelosi says that her package is $2.2 trillion in size, but the Congressional Budget Office, which is a nonpartisan group that values these bills and proposals, estimates that the size of Nancy Pelosi's package is not $2.2 trillion, it's actually $2.4 trillion. Mark Meadows nonetheless characterized talks today as, quote, making very, very good progress. Now, despite prior reporting that Donald Trump was going to start reaching out to senators to start getting support, he has not started reaching out to individual Republican senators to get that support, because at this point, Donald Trump doesn't believe we were close enough yet on the final terms of the deal. However, Donald Trump, when asked if Pelosi would go along with the administration's offer before the election, Donald Trump said, "I think they would," and followed up by saying, "Let's see what happens." This was on the tarmac at his campaign rally in Reno, Nevada. On Tuesday, Mitch McConnell is expected to hold a vote to extend the approximately $137 billion of leftover PPP funding from the CARES Act to a second round of PPP funding, so that eligible businesses whose revenue has declined 25 to 35% can have a second draw from the PPP. Now, it is not clear yet exactly what percentage will be used. On Wednesday, Mitch McConnell is then expected to reintroduce the Senate Republicans' $500 billion skinny proposal. Now, you might not actually remember what is in the skinny proposal, so let's go ahead and pull up the spreadsheet, or not the spreadsheet, the flowchart, and look at it quickly together to get a refresher. The skinny proposal includes $300 through December 27th. Now, the way the text was worded is that this unemployment benefit would actually be retroactive to the expiration of the CARES Act, which would mean it could be on top of the FEMA pay and we'd get retroactive payments, though I wouldn't be surprised if, since now we're in October, they end up modifying that. On schools, we would see $105 billion go to schools in the skinny proposal. We'd also see those liability protections. And if you want to pause here, you could see the definitions for those liability protections, which actually make it very difficult for you to win a COVID lawsuit. Furthermore, we've got the PPP funding, we've got $10 billion for the post office, and then about $31 billion for public health and $16 billion to COVID testing, some money for fisheries, and $20 billion to the USDA. There are no stimulus checks in the skinny proposal. That is important to remember, that stimulus checks are not in that, so it is not something that Mitch McConnell is prioritizing. Furthermore, neither of these bills, or basically the standalone PPP bill from Tuesday coming up and the skinny bill on Wednesday, neither of them are expected to go anywhere, though they are expected to be a tool to pressure Nancy Pelosi to accept a larger $1.8 to maybe $2 trillion bill with Donald Trump and Mnuchin. Later tonight, Nancy Pelosi will also be talking with Steve Mnuchin. We expect to hear an update around 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Further, Nancy Pelosi has released yet another letter characterizing the negotiation. Let's pull up the letter really quickly. This is the letter. I won't read everything here. Essentially, Nancy Pelosi says that on Friday we had 69,000 cases. The case count usually declines on Sunday and Monday, which it has. So we'll see what cases look like when they come in tomorrow on Tuesday. Nancy Pelosi has also expressed frustration that the administration does not want a national testing plan. Instead, they want states to have a testing plan, and that any kind of of verbiage the Republican administration wants to put into place would include phrases like may and recommendation and strategy rather than requirements, or phrases like the administration and the country shall do a certain thing to combat the virus. This has Nancy Pelosi very frustrated, along with the lack of clarity still yet on child tax credits, dependent tax credits, and the earned income tax credit. So this is very much a similar summary that we have seen from Nancy Pelosi before. However, what's frustrating is she does say here, these are a few of the issues we discussed this weekend, but they are not exhaustive of our concerns. This is because last week Nancy Pelosi also reiterated that she still wants more money for the unemployed. The current administration proposal provides $400 per week for unemployed workers, whereas Nancy Pelosi is seeking $600 per week. The stock market began today very optimistic and has since pulled back from highs. I've updated my favorite stocks. You're welcome to check out that link down below. It's a collection of 40 of my top favorite stocks. Go to metkevin.com/1337V12 to see my current allocations. Concerns are also growing that benefits of the 2 cycles of unemployment pay that we've had have now virtually been exhausted. Bank balances for those unemployed are now quickly falling back to potentially lower levels than we saw prior to the pandemic, which is a sign that any of the savings that were possibly built up are starting to be eradicated. This is increasing concerns at the Federal Reserve that without more stimulus, we may see a much more substantially sluggish recovery. On COVID, Abbott Labs' new $5 test has been shown to be nearly as accurate as deep nasal swab PCR tests. This is according to a study in San Francisco by the UC San Francisco. Now remember that this Abbott Labs test is something that the United States and Trump administration ordered 150 million tests of in August through September, and those shipments are now starting to come in. Furthermore, in China, we are seeing robust consumer spending growth and a country's economy that is nearing levels that we saw prior to the pandemic, which is giving hope to the United States that we can fully recover. However, on Saturday, Dr. Scott Atlas from the White House tweeted, quote, "Masks do not work." Twitter flagged this as misinformation, and this comes at the same time as the Washington Post, which leans left, reports that the White House has essentially given up fighting on COVID, or fighting the coronavirus pandemic. This also comes at the same time as the former FDA commissioner, Dr. Scott Gottlieb, says on CNBC that he believes we can have containment of this virus and get back to normal if everyone wore a mask, specifically indoors. Worldwide cases have hit 40 million, with cases in Europe still surging. France hit new highs this Saturday of over 32,000, its highest ever. And the UK has a recent average of 17,000 cases, also trending up. And you even have countries like Germany and Canada starting to see an uptrend, who had previously had the virus mostly under control. Meanwhile, in the United States, we are up to 47,601 cases with 368 deaths for Sunday. We expect tomorrow's numbers for Monday to be higher, as they usually are after a weekend. South Dakota is testing at a positivity rate of over 36.37%. New York City has 1,800 schools, and 3 weeks into the school year, we have only had 18 positive COVID tests so far. This is actually very good news for school reopenings. Thank you so much for watching, folks. We will see you in the next video. Make sure to check out the courses linked down below if you want a bundle. Remember, you can email me, and folks, we'll see you next time.